and we have here Mr. Kuldeep Jain with us. First of all, congratulations
on
your award.
Thank you so much.
And I'll be asking you a few questions
Of course.
related to your field of interest and your work. Leaving the top notch of the corporate ladder, you stepped into and took the plunge of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So, what inspired you to go for it?
Well, from campus, I got a job with McKinsey and Company, and I was there for 12 years, largely in India, sometime also in London and Singapore and Hong Kong offices of McKinsey. And it was a great journey at McKinsey, but I left in early 2011 to turn entrepreneur. So, question on why is largely to do with the fact that I always had this ambition. It had nothing actually to do with either IIMA or McKinsey or business opportunity. It was something I had maybe even as a child, an ambition that someday I'm going to turn entrepreneur. And boring as it may sound, even as a 10, 11-year-old, in addition to football heroes, I had entrepreneurs or business leader heroes. So I always wanted to do something. And finally, I used a simple risk logic, which is I asked myself when I was 36, I just made a global partner at McKinsey and Company, which was great, and I felt very proud and delighted about that achievement. But I did think about, look, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. And I was 36, I told myself, look, if I don't do this now, I'm never going to do it. And the simple risk question was, what's the worst which could happen? Which was quite obvious. There's probably a greater than 50% chance of miserable failure as an entrepreneur within 5 years. But the worst that could happen is, at the age of say 42, I would have had to reinvent myself in the corporate world and get a good and reasonably high-paying job, which I felt, look, having been a McKinsey partner, naukri to mil hi jayegi. That's not a challenge. So I said, look, if that's the biggest risk I have to take, that in 5 years, if I'm a failed entrepreneur, can I find a job? I'm willing to take that risk. I will find a job and make ends meet and so on. So I said, look, if that's my biggest risk, then that's not much of a risk. So it's a great time. Let's go for it.
What does it take to be a successful entrepreneur, and how did IIMA prepare you for it?
IIMA Ahmedabad was like a crazy boot camp. It was probably the first year at IIMA Ahmedabad was the toughest I have ever faced. Food, at least in those times, was really shitty. The academic pressure was incredibly intense. Competitive intensity was phenomenal. You had to work hard from 8 a.m. in the morning to 2 a.m. at night, non-stop. It was unrelenting. In comparison, McKinsey and entrepreneurship was a breeze. So I think, IIMA did a great service by creating an incredibly tough boot camp in the first year. As they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So I think IIMA Ahmedabad was a bit like that. Maybe too tough. So I'm happy I was here yesterday. I spoke to lots of students in the dorms. I'm happy to see that it's not as academically intense and not as grade point focused as maybe it used to be previously, which is probably a good thing. But IIMA really prepared you because it's the greatest training you could ever have. But on a serious note, I think IIMA Ahmedabad created two kinds of support systems. One was, batchmates. And there are at least 5 people I can count on who I studied with, who remain close friends. When the chips are down, I really need serious advice. I would be calling some of those friends. So I think that was the greatest support. And second is it did create a great platform, because I don't think if I hadn't come to IIMA Ahmedabad, I wouldn't have gone to McKinsey, and that sort of led to another series of career progressions and learning and so on. So it's a great stepping stone, which is what business schools are also meant to be. You're meant to learn, step up and get a great job. So I think IIMA Ahmedabad really created that for me. But as or more important was the friends whom I still count upon.
And the food is not all that bad, no?
I think it's great now. I've eaten at the mess often. It's fantastic. In our time we had aloo with everything. So it was aloo bhindi, aloo tomato, and we had even aloo paneer. I like who puts aloo with paneer.
Right. So, how tough is the fundraising aspect of being an entrepreneur? And what are the ways of going about it? What advice would you give to young entrepreneurs who are venturing out?
Well, chasing fundraise or chasing money is the wrong thing to chase. The reality is that there's actually a lot of investment dollars available, which is chasing a great business. So the one advice I would give people is focus on what it will take to build a great value creating business. And money will come chasing to you. If you think about what answer does someone want to hear to give me money, then you're chasing the wrong thing. So chase a great business. If you're on your way to building a great business, then frankly, a lot of money will be chasing you.
And what are the initial hiccups that you faced as an entrepreneur and how you overcame them?
Well, initial hiccups were many, and when you're starting from zero, and at least I'd always at McKinsey worked with reasonably large businesses, and even small businesses. McKinsey meant it's only 1,000 2,000 crores of revenue, and when you're starting from zero, the kind of challenges you face are quite different than what I was used to advising companies about. But I still found that having a few core things about you which are not going to change is very, very useful. So, for instance, what is your mission as a company? What are you trying to do? Not just about earning money and all of those things, but so our mission as Cleanmax Solar is to be a sustainability partner to private users, right? And we've pursued that from day one. We've adopted and changed technologies. We've grown to many different geographies. We have many different types of funding patterns for our clean energy investments. But the mission statement remains unchanged, which is that we are sustainability partners to private users. Right. So having some things like what are you trying to do, which remain unchanged. And then obviously, there are things, you can always spend more money when you have more money. And, this is what people focus on, the cheaper office and, second-hand chairs and so on. But those are very simple and easy things to take care of. You know what's your budget, you know how to work within it, not a big deal. But I think knowing what your mission is, what you're out seeking to do, thinking hard about what are the few key pillars of how you will build that business. So for me, one of the key pillars, which was very close to my heart coming from McKinsey, was that hire, retain, and develop the best talent in the business. So even when we were three people, we actually didn't have an office. When we had to hire more people, we were hiring from IITs. So number 4, 5, 6 was out of the IITs. We said that's the program we want to build out. Another pillar of the way we run our business is we have to have a high return on capital employed. It's fundamentally because renewables is an incredibly capital intensive industry. So if you don't create high returns, you're going to not be able to attract subsequent rounds of capital into it. So we've always at different times found different ways to substantially beat renewable industry average return on capital employed. And that's a principle which hasn't changed. So, think hard about your mission, think hard about the key principles. The details you sort through anyway on a day-to-day, month-to-month basis, and that part comes easily to Indians. The bootstrapping part, keep control on the cost. This is easy stuff. But think hard about the mission and the key principles.
So, what are your future plans as an entrepreneur? Do you plan to venture into other fields, areas, or how further do you plan to take it?
I love what we do. We are India's largest provider of clean energy to corporates and private users. And I love that because I feel it sort of creates a twin benefit approach. On one side, it's a business which is doing well, it's becoming material, and it's also doing well for me financially because if the business is becoming more valuable, then I'm the principal shareholder. That helps. But other than that part, I love the twin benefit part of it, which is that most of our clients are the ones who are really targeting 100% green electricity usage. So this is a real moonshot type of target. People are saying, look, I just don't want to use any brown power. I'm going to use 100% renewables. In comparison, by the way, the government's achievement is 7-8% renewables, and our private sector clients are saying 100% renewables. So I do feel that there's a second twin benefit, which is we are making real and material change. Right, so sustainability is a big thing. I think climate change is an incredibly important topic. So I love what we do because it has both benefits. I like the fact that look, it sort of is a sustainable, profitable, growing, value-creating business. But I also love that this is exactly what humanity needs at this point, and in our small way, we are making a big dent. And therefore, our plans are to keep our mission statement unchanged, but we are venturing into new product areas. So we are doing wind solar hybrid, which is a new emerging technology. We are doing energy storage, where we have a partnership with Tesla for energy storage facilities. So that's new products for the same clients, as well as we are expanding geography. So we started in Dubai 18 months ago. We started in Thailand recently. So we want to be the leading player in emerging markets in this. So very excited, not thinking about anything else, just going to keep focusing and growing this.
What does this award mean to you?
I think recognition by the institute is a really big deal. I think किसी भी alumni का सीना इतना चौड़ा नहीं हो सकता कि institute के सामने मस्तक ना झुक जाए. So if you see all of us awardees who are here today, everyone's we've all got parents, siblings, children. We're all incredibly happy and proud, and the institute means it means a huge deal to all of us, and it's always in our hearts.
Thank you so much. It was amazing and inspiring talking to you.
Likewise, thank you so much. Cheers. Thank you.